Welcome to Kyle Talks at Random. Today we'll be talking about Utah sales tax law. Several years ago, Utah passed tax legislation so unpopular that liberal and conservatives banded together to gather signatures for a citizen initiative. A Facebook group was formed as part of this effort, and the group has remained active in order to continue communication about tax law. Group leadership has indicated an interest in eliminating the sales tax on food, but more often than not, the group is used for conservative propaganda. Today I want to talk about a recent post of the group and how an innocuous-seeming question can feed extremist propaganda. The post reads, several years ago, the state started adding sales tax to all our online purchases. This has represented a significant tax increase because of the volume of things purchased online. Since these collections have happened, how much better our government services been? Why are we still taxed on groceries? First, I want to clarify what actually happened with taxes on online purchases. Utah has had a sales and use tax since at least 1984. If you purchase something for use in Utah without paying sales tax, you are expected to pay a use tax for that item when you file your annual taxes. For decades, this worked on the honor system, and many Utahns just didn't pay it. So the state legislature worked with online retailers to get the retailers to collect the use tax on the state's behalf. Then in 2019, the state began requiring online retailers to collect the use tax and pay that to the state government. With that requirement in place, Utah expected a $60 million increase in revenue. So the legislature passed SB 0233 as stated upon the condition that the $60 million additional dollars were collected from online sales tax, Utah would give an estimated $55 million tax break to companies engaged in manufacturing. So this was a straightforward question with a straightforward answer. Not to say that giving the tax cut to manufacturers was the right thing to do. I think it's a legitimate debate. Should we have lowered taxes on businesses and raised taxes on individuals? Should we have taxes that are targeted to discourage or encourage certain industries? These are legitimate policy questions that are about the future we want. We should be having these discussions as voters. Unfortunately, these sort of questions rarely lead to these sort of constructive policy discussions. Instead, we get comments to the effect of, plus the illegals that are here. If they are 18, the state gives them $3,000 a month of your tax dollars. Where does it stop? All of it. This is a common narrative in certain circles. The government is increasing your taxes in order to give the money to someone else. In the 90s, I was told that elected officials wanted to take my money to give it to the people who live in large cities. I realize now that this was a euphemism for minorities. In the current political environment, we're told that it's the illegals who are getting our tax money. Those narratives are rooted in the racist belief that people with darker skin are lazy and don't want to work. Another popular narrative is that the money is going to corrupt government bureaucrats or directly into politicians' pockets. All of these beliefs feed the overall narrative that Utah is sliding into communism and the government will soon take control of all of your money. The truth is that the Utah tax burden has been pretty consistent over time. For example, in 2015, Utah collected $10.5 billion in taxes, and Utah had an estimated GDP of $149.8 billion, which calculates as a 7% overall tax rate. In 2022, Utah collected $18.4 billion in taxes, but with an estimated GDP of $261 billion. This calculates to a 7% overall tax rate. There are fluctuations based on the economy, but overall that rate has been pretty consistent for the last couple of decades. We should be having honest and direct conversations about tax policy and the proper role of government. But lies about tax burdens and immigrants are preventing us from talking about the real trade-offs that are being made. Be aware of the racist narratives that these innocuous-looking questions are often feeding. Thank you for listening to Kyle Talks at Random.